how many times have you followed through and actually adapted what your goal was into your lifestyle? What's going on, y'all? Thanks for tuning in again. This one, Thanksgiving's over. If you celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah or any other holiday in December, we've got that one coming up as well. New year, new me. Are you planning on possibly starting a new fitness regimen, new workout, resolutions, all of those things? I know start of the new year, everyone starts off gung-ho, but how many times have you followed through and actually adapted what your goal was into your lifestyle and maintained it? If you never have, if you've never been successful, you got to ask yourself why. And this goes back to any kind of lifestyle change, any kind of fitness change. So if you have struggled in the past with sticking to a new year, new me, or some kind of lifestyle change that you wanted to implement at the start of the year, my main piece of advice that works for me is figuring out the reason why I want to do something. Okay. And it's probably been beaten to death at this point, is to figure out your why. But it really does hold a lot of value in my opinion. And if you don't have a strong enough reason to do something, it's probably not going to work for you. It's probably going to just fade to the side, and you're going to continue with what you were doing before. So there are a couple of things that I think are worth considering, and going through and asking yourself some of these questions is, the first one is, what was the reason in the past that you were unsuccessful or you failed at whatever your goal was, right? Whether that was a fitness change or just sticking to going to bed at a certain time or reading more, whatever it was. What was the reason that you didn't incorporate it as a new habit for the remainder of, your life, essentially? And if the first thing that comes to your mind is not you, it's not yourself, I think that would be the first thing I would focus on. Because to me, what that says is that there is an external locus of control for things that happen to you. And things are happening to you rather than you happening to them. And that may sound kind of woo-woo and kind of weird, but the point is, if you're consistently saying that there's something or someone that's holding you back from achieving something or standing as a roadblock in a way of something along those lines, more often than not, it's probably yourself that is that limiting factor. Whether it's the way that you approach it, the way that you handle the person or the thing, maybe you can go about it a different way, or maybe you just have to accept that whatever that scenario is or whoever that person is going to always be that way, and then you have to figure out a way to work around it or change yourself, adapt. Okay, but if you're constantly saying, oh, it's because of this, X, Y, and Z, it's because of whatever, how is it, that doesn't help you. Okay, so that's why I say, let's fix that first, take some ownership, take some responsibility, and figure out a way how you can change. That's, and not have to worry about something else outside of your control. But if that's not your problem, right? But if it was something else, because, and you say, well, it's because I just got lazy, or because I lost motivation, or any of the other number of things, right? Well, that to me is why no pun intended, is why the why is so important. Why the reason you're doing something is so important. Because that's to me a little bit easier to fix than having to change a mindset and shift someone who is constantly playing the victim card and probably does that frequently and probably has done that for the majority of their life. That's a much harder mindset shift to make than to figure out a stronger reason to do something or to accomplish something. And ultimately, it just might take a little bit of time to contemplate what that is. Okay? So, from experience personally, I mean, my why, it changes, right? It's always going to change. The goalpost is always going to move. But pretty much underlying all of that, all of everything, fitness motivated, health motivated, all of these things for me, for the longest time, my why has been because I have seen family, very close members of my family, just deteriorate because they didn't take care of their health, because they, didn't put it as a priority in their lives. And that's neither here nor there, negative or positive or whatever. It's just the fact of the matter is that's what it was. Was that due to improper education about, nutrition and exercise and diet? Sure. I'm sure that was a big factor. Was it, extenuating circumstances, life stuff, and yeah, things get in the way 100%. But that doesn't change the fact that I've seen the things that they had to go through, and a lot of the things that they suffered from were preventable, right? Maybe not in their scenario, but certainly for myself, right? So life is a great teacher, and it's your life becomes a lot easier when you can learn from other people's mistakes and missteps than having to go through it yourself. I typically tend to learn the hard way, unfortunately. Luckily, that didn't happen with the fitness stuff for me. I picked that up fairly quickly. I don't know, probably from a lot of other, past experiences and childhood stuff as well. And we can talk about that later. But, I saw that. And then, I guess we can talk about it now. And then on top of the fact that I grew up as, an overweight, fat kid, basically. So it's one of those things. I didn't want to be that way. And that was from a young age. So having that as a motivating factor is to not go back to being that way and inactive and not prioritizing my health. And then also seeing firsthand what not prioritizing your health long-term leads to. Those are both like deep motivators for me. Okay. And so that's strong enough for me to continue to live this lifestyle and be as neurotic as I am. And some people might call it crazy and abnormal or whatever. To me, it's normal. To me, being abnormal is the other way. So, perspective's everything. But the point is, there needs to be a strong motivator. So whether that's, and it's got to be tied to something that's deeply personal to you. Because if I'll use this as an example. If you're using something else as the motivator, whether that's your children, a parent, whatever, loved one, spouse, that can only go so far. That can start out great, but at some point, that flame is going to extinguish, and it's just going to be you, and you may not be motivated by that external factor anymore. And that's where you're either going to figure out that there is something else motivating you, or you might give up. And so that's just, again, my reflections and my piece of advice. If you're starting out, if you're embarking on a new year, new me, and you want to be successful and set yourself up for success long term, and you really want to make a change and incorporate healthy habits, whether that has anything to do with fitness and working out, or like I said, maybe just better sleep habits, or picking up reading again, or whatever it is. There's got to be a strong why, and there's plenty of resources online. You can use me as one, but I think that's one of the things that has helped me maintain focus and has pushed me all these years. So figure that out. Ask yourself some tough questions. Don't be, the truth hurts sometimes. So don't be afraid of it. Lean into it. And I wish you all the best. If you need help with any of it, whether it's training, nutrition, mindset, how to do certain things, how to approach certain things, reach out. That's what I'm here for. That's why I'm making this content. Hope to impact someone at some point along their journey and, help them along the way. See you guys next time. Thanks.